Welcome back once again. It's that time for the Master Channel Podcast. I am DJ Widebody.
And I am CX, the producer.
And this is the Master Channel where we discuss the ins and outs of hip-hop and amongst other things, both theoretically and technically. We're back. That's right. How's it going, CX? What's going on, CX, my brother?
Not much, my brother. Just happy to be back and happy to have an incredible brother on here today, you know.
Oh, man, no question, man. We had to come out for this one, man. Definitely, man. We're going to celebrate. We're going to talk a lot about it. Project coming out. Without further ado, let's introduce the brother, my man, over in Japan, ready to drop his much anticipated release, his album. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Master Channel, Jay Bishop.
What up, though?
What's happening?
What's up, Jay?
Happy to be back on the Master Channel Podcast, man.
Once again,
brother.
Right, man. Glad to have you, man.
Yeah, and technically speaking, this is the Corona edition.
Yes, indeed. The Corona edition it is, man. Jay, if you guys don't recall, Jay Bishop was on before with Master Channel when we first got started, man. Brother came through. This time it's a special occasion, man. We're going to celebrate this. Right now, Steppers, this is his latest project, is now for pre-order on Bandcamp. So after this, during this, go ahead and grab that up, get the pre-orders in. We're going to talk a little bit about Steppers, man. That sound good, guys? That sound good?
Yep. Let's talk about it.
All right. I guess I'll start off by asking, man. Tell us about Steppers. Tell us about the name. How'd that come about, and tell us, the journey of putting this project together, man.
Well, I've been working on this album for about a year. Putting this together, and the name Steppers comes from basically the two-step. You know that two-step shuffle that old heads like to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When they hear a song they like and they like, oh, sick of now they do that little two-step shuffle. Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm at that age now where I'm just constantly doing that two-step shuffle. That's how I dance now.
That's my only move.
Wow.
Watch out there now. That's my watch out there now dance. But yeah, I just basically been working on this for a year. Putting it together, a salute to what's called boogie, what now is called boogie. And boogie is a genre term coined for kind of post-disco era black music, where it's dance music, but it's slowed down from disco after all the backlash to disco. Black music kind of slowed down in tempo to around 98.
Right.
Between 98 to like 105, and kind of lost the 4 on the floor, but still kept that dance swing. So like the quintessential boogie song would be A Night to Remember by Shalimar.
Okay.
Yes.
Would be like the quintessential boogie song. And a lot of boogie producers at that time it wasn't called boogie. Boogie was later given to this style of music pretty much by white Europeans because they like to generalize everything. But a lot of people who made this type of music, you think of like Leon Sylvers III, Kashif,
yes,
Renee and Angela,
yes.
In the beginning, Jam and Lewis were doing a lot more boogie-oriented stuff, and that style of music is what I grew up on. That style of music that, as a kid, I came up listening to was this kind of this boogie funk. So I wanted to make an album that reflected that, and that's what Steppers is pretty much a salute to that style of music.
You know what? When you talk about that style, from a studio perspective, it was like automatically you see a DMX or a Lindrum.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna give you a prime example of that style of music. One of the most unsung artists with one hit that was incredible, and that was the dude Sherrod coming out of California.
Okay, share it. What's the song? I'm kind of that.
Baby
I
Just
know that
Call.
name. Okay.
Baby Just Call. That song was amazing. Like if you ever, for the listeners out there, look up Shirk. He died tragically because he started getting high and everything, was shot and everything. But the brother had that sound that Bishop is talking about. It's called Baby Just Call. Like that song is incredible. And that's kind of what a lot of the music that we're talking about stems around. He was one of those one-hit wonders, you know. And
Well, you talk about the Lindrum is because the Lindrum around that time was just coming out, and like I said, this is post-disco, so a lot of people, back when the disco time, you had a lot more bands.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it took a good deal of musicians to make a record.
Right.
As we go into post-disco and drum machines and synthesizers start to become more prominent, it takes less people to make a record. And the drum machine started coming to the forefront. The Lindrum and the Oberheim DMX started coming to the forefront around that time frame because people started making these records pretty much one-man band, damn near one-man band style, or limited musicians. Like you look at the Kashif stuff. Kashif did the drum programming. Kashif played all the keyboards. Kashif, he might bring in a guitarist and might bring in a bassist.
Right, like Prince.
yeah, Prince doing everything by himself. Right.
So now let me ask you something. On the album, your influences on the album.
Good question.
You spoke about that, and how hard was it to recreate that sound?
Well, we are in a very fortunate time in music technology where you can recreate sounds of the past kind of easily because of the sheer amount of VSTs and sheer amount of samples and sounds that are available to us as musicians today. And people still, the reason you still can do that is because people still covet that sound. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I laugh at it sometimes that we got all these computers and all this technology and everybody's still trying to make it sound like it sounded in the 70s. To the point where they got plugins to add tape hiss to make it sound like it did in the 70s. So it's very easy now to try to recreate, or at least I found it kind of easy to recreate that sound-wise. Now, to recreate that style,
I was ready to say that.
It's a different thing. Anybody can recreate the sound. The sounds are you have access to all the keyboards that they had back then in VST form, but to recreate that style of music, that requires a bit of study to look at how songs were written back then, song structures were back then, how harmonies were back then, the type of keys.
Right.
Like a lot of those songs were in minor keys.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Funk in general is in minor keys.
Right. Now, the reason why I asked, how did you recreate it? Because the thing is, we grew up, basically on the same thing and everything. And aside the type of music we do, I know we me and you like to step out, and I'm pretty sure why Biden and a lot of others like to step out to a different genre in a sense to do different stuff. But it's a different mindset of programming that you have to achieve that sound. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you said, tempo wise, the tempo is totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different. And it's not like the regular structures that we're used to using, the 8s and the 16ths. Back then some songs were done in 12 verses with 12s and hook verse, bridge. Everything had a bridge in it back then. So I just wonder, how your mindset was creating that. The sounds were there, like you said, but to actually make it sound like it's style-wise. You understand what I'm saying? Because somebody
I think you're asking me how I approach like song structure, and yeah, just number one, just absorbing and listening to a lot of music of that era, and
Right.
and two, just thinking about, like you said, how songs were set up back then. Like, for an example, I got a song on the album called Conversations Online. That song
Yes.
has a bridge.
Yes, it
because
does.
bridges were pretty much prevalent back then.
Right.
So I intentionally wanted to write a song that had this bridge moment in it. And I have other songs that have, in lieu of bridges, they might have breakdowns.
Right.
Where everything drops out except for the drums and the bass. And I also intentionally did a lot of keyboard solos
Yes.
in the breakdowns on this record. So it'll be a breakdown and then a keyboard solo, because that was a very stylistic thing back then, where you had more solo. Hell, if I had a saxophone, I would have put a saxophone on it.
I think back then when they were making those songs, even though they were one-man bands, they made the song so like it was a band playing it.
Right.
So when the song is performed, they're gonna have a band there. So a band has to be structured like a live band would be playing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And a lot of and like I said, this is post-disco era, but the discotheque is still a thing. The dance club is still a thing. So people are making records to be played in a dance club. Hence, you had all these breakdowns. That the breakdowns was the part that, that's the get down part. That's for people to go out there and put their best moves on. Yep. During the breakdown part. And I listened to like a lot of extended, like 12-inch mixes where the breakdowns were extended and things like an example of that on the album is the song It's All Yours. It's All Yours has pretty much a really extended breakdown, and that's on purpose because I'm listening. That song's kind of influenced by the Whispers.
Right.
And I listened to joints like Keep On Loving Me, and they had like extended breakdowns. So I kind of, looking at that structure, I built an extended breakdown based on that.
But I think disco gets a bad rap in a sense.
It does.
It gets a bad rap, but if you really listen to a lot of the show enough disco, a lot of that stuff had orchestras and everything in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it did. Yes,
it
did.
And especially.
Go ahead.
Especially when it came to Gamble and Huff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When they did, like you said, those Whispers and was it the OJs?
Yeah, OJs.
Yeah.
Gamble and Huff.
Yeah, I'm saying, and some of them songs they did, like they were disco-y, but they had, they always put orchestras in that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Barry White did. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like disco kind of got a bad rap.
It did get a bad rap, and that was just, I think today is looked at as kind of like a kitschy era or some type of jokey era, but I think that's less based on the music and more based on the culture that surrounded it. That based on fashion.
Yes.
Wasn't it diverse?
Based on the large amount of
weird.
I mean, just to be honest, there were a lot of gay people who participated in the disco era, and there's a lot of cocaine flowing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say
Studio 51.
Yeah, 54.
54.
Yeah. So yeah, disco gets a bad rap, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's based on the music per se. I think it's based on everything that surrounded the music, and that's where a lot of the hate came from. I mean, a lot of the hate that people had for disco had to do with the fact of the large amount of the gay culture that surrounded disco, a large amount of, black people surrounding disco. The hate was based more on racism and sexism than it was the actual music.
Wow, yeah.
Well, and then also, actually, you got to realize the funk aspect with George now was really jumping off from them to barcades and all that other stuff, right? The funk aspect, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then here comes disco. You understand what I'm saying? And it kind of like made it more musical, and because the funk and the disco was different, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you got to think about that, man. Like,
But was it really? Because disco to me is really just sped up funk. Like you listen to like the Chic record.
I was thinking about Chic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you listen to like I Want Your Love or La Freak. Those is funk records. They just sped up. But
they had those orchestras behind it too. You feel what I'm saying? And like the funk aspect, from like I said, from George to George Duke to all those ones, it was just like more just gritty, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like gritty, hard, you know what I'm saying? And here come this happy, dancey, you know what I'm saying? They have everybody dancing out, wigging out, dancing and all that. So and a lot of groups felt salty about that. That's why they kind of hated disco, you know what I'm saying? They said disco killed it a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, man.
But like I said, the boogie rose from the ashes of disco, and I think that it still carries on today in what is being called modern funk. If you listen to people like Dame Funk,
right,
XL Middleton, and the APX, people like that. They are carrying on the torch for boogie in the modern funk movement.
Put Bruno in that category a little.
Bruno is capitalizing on it. I can't say he was there from the start, but Bruno damn sure jumped on it, and I'm not going to knock it because I love that 24 Karat Magic album. I love that album.
Man, let me tell you something. I seen him in the studio making that.
Right.
And man, Bruno was groomed as a child to be what he is now. Yes. People forget that. People don't know that. They just see him now. All that singing, and when he was singing to them tourists in Hawaii and all, his parents groomed him to be what he is right now, man. Hey. The boy is the reincarnation of Jackie Wilson, man.
That's some big shoes to fill.
Me and lying.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, cause he got to look like him, and he somewhat sound like him. And he got little dance moves too, I'm not saying he all Jackie Wilson, but he kind of remind me of him, man. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of do. If you think I didn't think of it like that. He do.
Well, I'll be real interested to see what direction he goes in next. Will he stay on the kind of funk direction that he's in now, or will he shift to do something different? Because this is where he is now and where he started is two different places.
It is.
You go back, you listen to that first Bruno Mars album, it doesn't sound anything like 24 Karat Magic.
But
I'm interested to see where, knock the mic. I'm interested to see where he goes.
But you got to look at this, Jay Bishop. He brought a new generation to hear a style of music that they never heard before.
He did.
Definitely did.
He did. He did bring a new interest to funk, and I can't knock him for that. I can't knock him for that at all.
You know what they said was the key, the secret. Well, not the secret. What was the workhorse on that track was the CL3A waves. They said they used that quite extensively on that track there.
I seen him in the studio playing it on the keyboard. Mm-hmm. Like he was in the studio playing. Like he played a lot of that stuff on that song, man.
Sickening. Yeah. Straight up. Hey man, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
No. You finish because I want to ask him something else. But that's
Good.
this shit was sickening watching him do that. I think I know what one you're talking about. He just went in the studio and started playing all these different keyboards, man.
Yes.
Wagging
Yes.
out. Like wow.
Yeah, he pulled a what's his name, man, in New York, man. My man, one of the best producer players. They used to be with Puffy.
Oh, Ryan Leslie.
Yeah, he pulled the Ryan
yeah.
Leslie.
Yeah, that's another brother I like watching too.
He pulled the Ryan Leslie in that joint.
Straight up. Hey man, I want to play a minute or two, couple seconds off of the album, man. I'd like you to lead the way, man. And what would you like us to play for the people, man?
You know,
we want feedback too on how what you were feeling when you made that song.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and play Rest Assured.
All right, here we go. This is Rest Assured off the Steppers. Here we go.
You say you want me to be your man. I say you should run as fast as you can. I'm no good for you. I'm no good for you. Won't do what you want me to. What you want me to.
Rest Assured off of Steppers, dropping July 3rd. Check it out. bandcamp.latepass music. Go ahead and cop that. Get that pre-ordered.
Now, Jay,
Yes.
tell me what you were thinking when you made that, man.
SOS Band.
I kind of figured that. It was dripping with that one right there, Paul. It was dripping with that one.
Yeah, as if you go back and listen to the Jam and Lewis produced SOS Band stuff, they exclusively used the 808, and they had that kind of programming. So I wanted to kind of program my drums to be reminiscent of that.
Yeah. Man.
And I used a lot of like Jam and Lewis, like belly type sound. So you hear kind of the bells in there, using that. So yeah, I was definitely thinking SOS Band when I made that song.
Listening through the stereo field is just out of this world, man. Everything is live, man. It's all over the place. Well placed.
Oh yeah. I love using panning when I mix to kind of spread things out amongst the stereo field and just make it, feel. I want it to fill your headphones. When you listen to it in headphones, I want it to fill the space.
Right. Now, it's funny, because your style of writing and the way you recorded it. I mean, of course, the beat sounds, is reminiscent of that, but the way you're actually singing too, because it's like you're not singing against the track. You're singing exactly to the chords and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're riding it, like
Yes.
how the music was back then.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's yeah, I kind of write to when I'm writing lyrics, I like it takes me one of the reasons it took like a year to make this album is it takes me a long time to write lyrics. So I have to pretty much like a lot of these songs, like some of these songs that I've had the music for longer, like 2 years. I think It's All Yours, I've had that music for like 2 years.
Wow.
I just
Okay.
it took me a while to come up with a lyrical concept for it.
Gotta be in the moment.
So
Not just forcing
yeah, I gotta be in the moment, or I gotta, really be sitting down and thinking about what am I trying to accomplish with this song. And usually the hook will come first, and then I can fill in the rest of the words from there. So yeah. So with this song, the hook came first.
Wow.
I mean, it's really some feel good music. You know what I'm saying? Like that song is something that you listen to, cleaning the house up, riding in your car, chilling. You feel what I'm saying? And you know how it's definitely a Jamie Lewis influence. You know what I'm saying? You know how like when they did SOS Band, some of the songs like Sands of Time is like late night riding by yourself type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you nailed that. You definitely nailed it.
And in the world, we definitely need feel good music out here these days, man. With what the world's going through and all that. Not to get too political, but yeah, man. It's got to be a balance, man. I'm a balanced type person with music, man. Music evokes emotion, so definitely, I'm here one day, I'm over here this day. Maybe I'm using this to clean the house up, or using this to drive, or it's variety, man.
Well,
yeah. You talk about SOS Band. I think about if I had to nail one song that kind of influenced that, it'll be "No One's Gonna Love You."
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My two favorite SOS band songs is damn, what's that? If I don't before you're the finest.
Yeah, the finest. Mm-hmm.
The finest and Sands of Time. Like
Yes.
those are my favorite. Everybody like to Just Be Good to Me, but no, to me the finest in Sands of Time.
I had another song that's kind of inspired by the finest, but it didn't make the album. I couldn't get the vocals the way I wanted it to be.
Take your time. That's mine too. That's that, man. I always still throw that on. Hey, let me ask you something, man. Without giving up all your secrets, man. What was the workhorse for this project, plugin wise?
Musically, I do I do everything in Machine, and as far as plugins, I gotta give it up to UVI Synth Anthology 2.
Oh yeah, the UVI stuff is incredible, man.
Arteria Analog Lab.
I knew you was gonna say
that. Native Instruments Retro Machines. Give it up to that. I got the Korg M1 plugin. Use that a lot. And just Machine. Machine has a couple of kits that I use. Their Lindrum kit, their LM1 kit, their Oberheim DMX kit. I use those a lot. Their 808 kit. And as far as recording, I did that all in Reaper. And vocal wise, I give it up to Nectar. Isotope Nectar. I give it up to all the vocoder stuff on the album was done with Vocal Synth.
Oh yeah.
And I did the mastering in Ozone. So
Right.
I give it up to Ozone. And the Tokyo Dawn Labs EQ called Nova. I use that a lot.
Slept on.
I never heard of that one.
Oh, that's a beautiful EQ. It's got a great graphical interface that shows you it's basically an EQ with a compressor built into it.
Oh, okay.
So you can compress certain frequencies, and it's free.
Right.
Yep. Straight up.
Jay Bishop, you remind me of my man. Shout out to my man Ahmed Sayar. Ahmed, he's done remixes for Foreign Exchange. He did the remix All This Love. And he did he did the opening song on She's Gotta Have Me. That's his.
Okay.
Yeah, he did that. And he done remixes for Eric Rose and stuff like that. And I help. That's my man. I don't want to speak about what I've done for him here and there, but he travels the world, and the only thing he keeps with him is a MacBook Pro and a M Audio key station, and a set of headphones and the interface, and the stuff he makes. You heard what I just said. He's done. He's done all that with just that one laptop, Logic, and a keyboard and an interface. And for the people out there that don't know, Jay Bishop is our comrade. That's our brother. We've been around each other, a couple times. He keeps it minimal. These albums you hear. So he has his discography on Bandcamp. Everything. Matter of fact, he has this discography on sale right now on Bandcamp. Go check it out. But what I'm getting to is that the brother just uses his laptop, his keyboard, interface. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he has SP404, but he don't use that for that.
No.
But what I'm saying is, you don't need a whole studio full of stuff to achieve good music.
Amen.
You understand what I'm saying? This brother, these albums he's done them with just what I just told you he's done it with. So that's what I'm getting to, and I applaud you, you know what I'm saying, for what you're doing and the quality that you're pumping out of there with just that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's all about maximizing what you can do with what you have.
Right.
And, like, I get questioned a lot about doing my keyboard solos, and you all have seen how I do the keyboard solos. I do them all on machine.
Yes.
Just using the pads.
Yes.
And it takes practice. It takes knowing what you want to do. Like when I do a keyboard solo, I hear it in my head. I know how it's going to go in my head before I even play it. So it's just working out how are you going to accomplish that with what you have.
Right. Straight up.
And it's also just, I think a lot of folks don't put in enough to practice, enough work.
Yep.
You get a lot of dudes that get online. Yo, I just made this beat in 10 minutes and this, that,
Right.
third, whatever. But I make a ton of beats just to throw them away because
Right.
I'm practicing.
Right.
Because I'm working out what I want to do. I'll make a beat and then put on the keyboard mode on this machine and just solo to it. Just because I'm practicing how I want to do runs, what runs work, how can I make things happen within these 16 pads. How can I make things happen that sound like and make it sound like I played it on the actual keyboard?
Right.
And full disclaimer, we heard this and seen this in real time when we were in Detroit.
Straight up. Like somebody got a beat going and he is playing the bass in the background, same key and everything along to what we coming up with, like on the spot. Just like that. No time at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody looking at it's about 20, it was about 20 something, 20 of us in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had equipment and beat playing. I think it was Wide Body. I think it was you, Wide Body. You was sitting over there.
Yeah, it was Wide Body and Gressel.
Yep.
They were working on the beat.
They were working on the beat, and and we're looking around because we hear this bass line. We're like, hold up, man. Where the hell is coming from, right?
Damn.
And mind you, Jay Bishop is probably about 2 feet away from me. We all set up on the same thing. I'm looking. I said, oh, shit. I said, man, I'm like, they're like, CX, that's you? I said, hell no. I said, that's Jay Bishop. I look he over there playing on the machine micro. For all you people out there who say, man, I can't do nothing on the micro, this, that, never, I need the studio and the other ones. Well, he did it on the micro. So I'm telling you, it can be done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we are in a fortunate time with technology-wise where if you take a little time and study, it goes back to the old adage of know your instrument.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And machine is for all intents and purposes my instrument.
Right.
And I know it. I know how to accomplish what I want to accomplish on it. So yeah, if it comes to I want to play a bass line, I know that I could set this equipment to a certain key, and I know I could set the pads to certain intervals.
Right.
Where it'll play, I can play it and make it play what I want it to play. And I know that I'm capable of doing this type of run and that type of run.
Beautiful thing, man. Straight up.
It's I'm grateful that we are, especially, all of us, we came up making this, and we remember the days of, a cassette 4-track.
Sure.
And pause tapes and trying to get your ideas out. And now we're at the point where you can get your ideas out way easier than what you used to.
Right.
So I'm fortunate that I'm able to do this now. And I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where I can say I'm good at this. Not to be arrogant.
Not at all, man. Straight up.
I feel like, and I've been doing this for fucking 35 or more years. Mm-hmm. And I'm just not getting to the point where I feel like I'm good at this.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
so that's how much work it takes.
You hear that out there, people? I just to go back to what you were saying about, people get online and like, I got, 25 beat tapes I put out this year. Like, it's sometimes, like you say, sometimes you got to take a couple steps back. Got to kind of, what you want to put down is what you need to put down. I think the test is being able to, whatever you got playing in your head, is to interpret that and put that down exactly how you have it in your head, and then some.
Right. I can say with this album, I got on to the, quote unquote tape. I got onto the tape what I heard in my head.
Right. That's the biggest hurdle for a lot of people.
True. To
be able to translate that from a thought to an actual action.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, I'm a musician, so I'm always self-critical. So there are always things I listen to and be like, could I have done this? Could I have done this? Maybe not. But like I said, what I had in mind when I made this album, I got accomplished. And, you talking about that, the feeling, I'm trying to get that feeling of the backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
The cookout. This is cookout time. Music.
Yeah.
Or like you said, this is ride around town with the windows down music. This is we going to there's a park in Detroit called Belle Isle. We going to Belle Isle and having a cookout and having family over and your uncle's over on the grill and the song's playing and he started doing his little two-step while he's cooking. Like those Spice Adams videos when he be cooking and dancing. I'm trying to get that feeling.
Well, you nailed it, man. Great, hell of an album, man. We were fortunate to get a hold of it, man, and it's dope, man. We're gonna and when it comes out, we're gonna celebrate it, man, and it deserves to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're gonna do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm in a fortunate space now that I'm getting a lot of love for the album, and I appreciate it. And I just hope that folks really vibe with it when it comes out, and people can relate to it, you know, especially in the times we are in now.
Sure.
Some people need an escape. They need something to make them feel comfortable. And I kind of want this album. You know, I had thoughts about or worries about putting out an album of this kind during this time that we're in, a time full of protests and a time full of worry. I'm like, should I really put out an album full of kind of like dance music? I mean, who's really trying to dance right now? But, you know, I'm thinking, the more I thought about it, the more I thought that, you know, some people need comfort. Some people need, you know, something to ease their mind from. You can't be on protest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
No.
You can't be angry. You would consume yourself being that angry.
Yes.
You will.
For that period of time. So, you know, if I can offer just a little something to ease your mind for 40 minutes or what, you know, for 40 minutes of the length of the album or whatever, I want to try to do that and just give you a little bit of a respite from, you know, what's going on out in the world. Not to forget it, but to just, you know, to recharge that battery.
Yep.
Well, also to give somebody a nostalgic sound.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you know, when the thing we always want is somebody would be lying if they say they didn't. You want to be able to connect with a different spectrum of people. So when a lot of people that's a little older than us as well hear it, they could be like, "Oh man, who's that?" You know what I'm saying? Who is that? You know what I'm saying? And they can connect to it and say, "Yeah, I could dance to this." You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they always say. Could they dance to it? You know what I'm saying? So now you gave them something to dance to and play at the cookouts and whatever. Because everybody's music is not meant to be the main song played all the time. You know, we come up in a time where certain songs were played in certain instances. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't riding around in your car just listening to Family Reunion. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You wasn't just riding around just blasting Family Reunion, man. People be like, "Man, what the hell is wrong with dude?" Man? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But every time that cookout came up, you know what I'm saying? When y'all had that Family Reunion, that became the theme song.
It's also, you know, you talk about that. I think about album cuts. Like right now, these days, there really are no album cuts because people don't really focus on albums no more.
Right.
But back then, you had this song that wasn't a single. It wasn't no video for it, but you know, it was the jam on the album.
Yep.
And you know, I kind of wanted to make, you know, have some album cuts, have some joints that you know, that shit be grooving.
Well, you know how it go. A lot of songs that, you know, when we make music, or even when, you know, a lot of people are making music, they try to use songs for target purposes, this, that, and other, and the shit don't work out, and the song that they didn't think was going to be this and be that end up being the one that propel them as artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And then another thing that, like, in the streaming era, like we were saying, there's no real focus on albums, and people do put out quote unquote albums. It's got like 30 songs on it. I think, what was that? Chris Brown put out like a 40-song album. Nah. That's not an album. That is a ploy to game the streaming system.
Yeah.
So I put out this song. This album has 11 songs on it. It didn't need no more.
Right. Yeah.
I got to say what I want to say, and I wanted to make it where when it's over, you want to hear it again.
Right. It kind of remind me of like that. Some of the songs, like, they could be placements on movies.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
they could be literally placements on movies, when what they call period pieces.
Yes.
You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? When they say, okay, Los Angeles, the 80s. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And they need a song that's not from a major artist so they don't get hit. So
Right.
they bring your Joan in, hit you off with some bread, and then next thing you know, you getting residuals from the movie.
Yep.
Right.
Like, you know, and that's how we got to think sometime as producers. Like, some of the stuff we do may not be targeted for another artist, or may not even be targeted to be sang over or rapped over or anything. It could be targeted. It may end up in the film and TV industry.
Right. Yes, I think that as producers, we have to, especially in these times, you got to look at expanding your streams of income
Yes.
and finding more ways to get your music out, and not depending on one thing, putting all your eggs in one basket. Like, you know, there's a big thing about Spotify right now,
Right.
about how they're not really paying.
Right.
And people are starting to realize that, you know, they can't really make a living off of Spotify. And I gotta give props to Bandcamp, because Bandcamp, with their Bandcamp Fridays program, where the first Friday of the month they are waiving their fees and giving all the money direct to the artist,
That's
is
right.
a really big movement, and is really pushing people to promote their Bandcamps and build a community on their Bandcamps, which is kind of what I'm trying to do with this album, is to really build a community surrounded with Bandcamp, because I really believe in that platform. All of us have been big Bandcamp supporters from the beginning.
All right.
So I think that what they're doing over at their company is really beneficial to artists, and really want to help artists grow. And I think we have to start taking more control of our work and more control of how we make money from our art,
So
and push it the way we want to push it. You don't have to push Spotify. You don't even have to put your stuff on Spotify.
So-
that is a choice.
let's speak on that real quick, because I remember the DistroKid whole craze a couple of years back, and what's going on the sites. But actually, I look into my bank and I got $3 sitting there. I'm like, damn. I mean, what do you really benefit from? I mean, somebody like myself, I mean, I go and throw something on Spotify. Is that kind of like not the move anymore? Is this, do you want to put it up?
It all depends on what you want to accomplish and whether or not you're willing to play the game that you have to play.
I got you.
And the game that you have to play with streaming, or specifically with Spotify, is you have to play the game of trying to get on playlist.
Okay, I remember you saying that.
And getting on playlist is a game of courting influencers, is a game of courting Spotify's editorial staff, is a game sometimes of payola.
Damn.
We old enough to remember the days of payola, when
Yes.
promoters would pay DJs to play records.
Yep.
Well, that has moved into the virtual world now, where people are paying Spotify influencers who have large followings on their playlist to put your song on their playlist. They're charging, and they're making money off of this.
Wow.
It's basically the new payola.
That's
So it all depends on whether you're willing to play that game. And there's also a game of sacrificing art for commerce. It's a game of quantity over quality in some cases, because Spotify is an algorithm based company. And to fulfill the algorithm, you have to, what people are calling feed the machine.
Right.
You have to have a consistent amount of releases to constantly remind the algorithm that you exist.
Wow.
Damn.
So you have to be putting out music every month, basically. You got to put something out at least every month. And while you're doing that, you got to court the influencers, court the playlist managers, and promote people and try to get people to follow your Spotify. Because the more followers you have on your Spotify, the more you'll show up in the algorithm. And it's a whole, meanwhile, you're doing all this while still trying to manage your other social media accounts, still trying to manage all your other streaming services or whatever music you're working on. And it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. And I believe that the ROI on that is minimal for the amount of work that you're putting into it, because you're still only making 0.004 cents, 0.4 of a cent per stream.
It's crazy you said that. I'm gonna tell you why. What turned me off about Spotify is when Pharrell came out with Happy, and I think he had 40 million streams for that one song.
Right.
And they only gave him like, I think he had 70 million. I think they only gave him like $40,000.
Right. Right.
God. Jesus.
Yes. So it is I'm not saying it can't be done. There are people who have gamed the system. I read a story about a guy who puts out like a song every day, just playing the game that the sheer amount of material that he has will get streamed at some point, and he'll be able to make some type of money on it. And he's playing the numbers game.
Right.
But he's putting out not quality music. He's putting out like a lot of songs, just variations on the same song.
Wow.
So
That's no way to live.
Gamified the system.
That's no way to live, man. I would like, Good.
Nah.
and just saying that, on the opposite spectrum, you could put out something on Bandcamp and make what it would take you 10,000 streams to make.
Yeah.
On Spotify, you can make that in one sale.
So we need to get
And a lot of artists, instead of trying to concentrate on, I need to hit up these playlisters and I need to do these influencers and I need to put a song out every week and yada, yada, yada. Instead of concentrating on that, concentrate on the other ways that you can make a real income. Like you were saying, licensing to film companies, to YouTube channels, to television shows, merchandising. The days where a CD or album, vinyl, it was considered music, is not really music anymore. That is considered merch.
Right.
Damn.
And you have to treat it as merch, because at this point, nobody's buying your album to listen. Nobody's buying your vinyl per se to listen to it as vinyl. They're buying it as a collector's item, and they're buying it because they want to support you.
Right.
They want to show that they're supporting you.
Good point.
There's a large amount of people who buy vinyl who don't even have record players.
You know what? I think Wide Body, when we get a chance, I think we need to do a podcast on Taxi. You remember Taxi used to be an electronic musician magazine?
Yeah, I remember Taxi. I was a member of Taxi for like a hot minute.
Yeah, I think we need to get back into that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's probably still some of those type of services out there. You know what I'm saying? That we can expand upon and
you know what though? But I think a lot of folks these days like, okay, I'm gonna be slightly controversial. A lot of the musicians that's out here today got thin skins, bruh.
Right.
And I don't think that they would want to participate. Like Taxi was a service where you could send in music and they would critique it for you and say, hey, this is good. You need to improve on this. You need to do this. And, you know, if they like it, they will push it on to A&Rs at music companies. If not, they would say, hey, improve on this and resubmit it or whatever. Man, dudes today ain't trying to hear that criticism.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's something that we need to bring up too as well on how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because of course they're not here anymore. But I think one of episodes may be brainstorming and just conversation in general about that type of stuff.
I'm with it. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, like I said, like this is the reason I did CDs for this release, because I realized that there's still people who, even if they don't listen to it on CD, they would buy it just to show support. And I'm trying to, you know, I don't have a large fan base, but I got a dedicated fan base. People who fuck with me, they fuck with me the long way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wanted to put something out that they can support and they can show that, yo, I'm down. This is my man. I bought his CD. I don't even got a CD player. I ain't even got shit to listen to, but this is my nigga.
Right.
So that's why I put this particular release out on CD, to just show support give them a way to show support and show them that I'm listening to them. Because some people ask me, can I get it on CD? You know, okay, let's do it.
Straight up.
If I could afford a vinyl, I would, but vinyl is mad expensive, yo.
For real?
Right.
Yo, vinyl is mad expensive, yo.
Damn.
But, you know, depending on how things go, at some point I could do like a Patreon or a GoFundMe if people really want, you know, are interested in vinyl. I could set it up and do like a GoFundMe for that, and maybe I'll look into doing that. But yeah, getting vinyl press, woo.
Hey Jay, do me a favor. Let everybody know your social media and everything too.
You can find me J Bishop Funk on Twitter and J Bishop Funk on IG and J Bishop Funk on YouTube. And you can find all my music, including Steppers. You can pre-order Steppers. It drops July 3rd. At latepassmusic.bandcamp.com.
Yes, sir.
And you can find me on all the streaming platforms where they don't pay me yet.
Hey, we missed the rants, bro, on YouTube. We need more. I know.
You know, I've been trying to. That's another thing, is trying to build up your YouTube following, which is a lot of work. But yeah, I haven't done a rant in a while. I've been trying to stay calm.
That's a never show too as well. YouTube and with these culture vultures who are making whack music but still getting more views than people that are making good music.
They'll get me started on the bro-fi.
Right. We'll say that for another episode.
Bro-fi.
Before we get out of here, man, I wanted to ask y'all, what are y'all favorites on the album? Just out of my curiosity.
Mine's That Feeling, number 2, and the Outer Space one. I'm really digging that.
I like That Feeling too.
What about UCX?
I like That Feeling too, because matter of fact, hold on, let me go on here. Where's it at? Where we at? I had it up on here too. I was listening to it.
I love how Outer Space.
That was the first song I got done for this album. Because I don't know, some of you might remember that when I started working on this album, I was working with a label out of Italy called Sleepers Records. Mm-hmm. And I put That Feeling out with them. I put Two Fingers out with them. And originally the album was gonna come out through them, but the COVID hit and it hit Italy really bad, and they had to pretty much kind of shut down.
Wow.
what they were doing. So,
That's
I talked to them and like, I want to get this out. So they was like, yeah, you go ahead and just put it out on your own, and we'll support you and all that. But yeah, so shout out to Ivan Mockville, who runs Sleepers Records out of Italy, and props to him for actually inspiring me to do this project.
Yeah,
and getting it done.
I like the conversations online too. That was my joint too.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. Like I said, it's amazing to me how it gives you that. You nailed it, man.
Yeah,
that's
did,
all
man.
I can say, man. You nailed it.
You nailed
man.
it, bro.
You nailed it, and it's not like you tried to do it. It sounds like that.
It's nothing in
Everything.
I mean, the biggest hurdle I had making this was the vocals, because I am by no means Luther Vandross, so
a lot of them wasn't either.
Trying to get the sound of the vocals right and that it kind of inspired me, because you listen to a lot of funk records, funk singers weren't necessarily the best singers.
right.
Nope.
Bro, you hitting high
But
notes.
they expressed a feeling, and I hope that's what I did with this album, is through my voice expressed an emotion and expressed a feeling of the songs, which I was trying to.
You did not shy away from hitting high notes, man. You went for it and you did it, man. One of them, you did it, man. Yeah,
Well, I got to give a shout out to Auto-Tune.
I'll say this.
Shout out to Auto-Tune, because Auto-Tune is more than the T-Pain effect. If you actually use it the right way.
For you listeners
actually,
out there,
tune the vocals and not even notice it.
That's what it's really for.
Yeah, it's different coming from us, because we're not just listening. We can't just, in a sense, we can't just listen to music, because we analyze music because we make it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't give a damn if we walking in a goddamn store and they playing some classical music. We're still gonna analyze that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But for the people that are fans, they don't care what you use. How does it sound? And the thing is, it sounds like it's supposed to sound. You understand what I'm saying? It does not sound like you're trying to recreate a sound or nothing. It sounds like it should sound and from that time. That's all I can say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say, and it sounds good. It sounds good.
He did, but in his way. You know what I mean? He didn't rip anything. He did it in his rendition of what he interpreted it as. This is my interpretation, but this was the Jay Bishop.
I wasn't trying to, do a ripoff.
No,
knockoff.
Of course not.
I wanted to pay homage to that era, but still, write in my style, and write in my way.
Yep.
And talk the way I talk. Like, the perfect example is the two fingers. If you talk to me for more than a minute, I talk that way.
you know what you missing though? You missing. The only thing you was missing was some of them little, hey man, what you doing, man, on the street type jumps, and then the song coming in. You remember how they used to have like little stuff like that?
Yeah.
You're like, man, why they put this street sound in the song? You know what I'm saying? Like what that got to do with you going to the show? You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? On that song, there is like 15 tracks of background talking. It's just down low, like the claps. On that, I did 15 tracks of me actually clapping my hands.
Damn, I'm impressed.
And then talking, and you can hear some of my talking in the background. It's just down low, but I'm kind of mimicking the lyrics.
The crosstalk.
Yeah, in the background. But yeah, I did like 15 tracks of live clap just to add some feeling to it. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just the little things. Like, I notice in a lot of those old records, the little things. You might hear a clap here, you might hear like a little cowbell somewhere off in the distance or whatever. And like what is that? That tambourine there. It's just the little ear candy things that can add that can, you might not hear them on the surface, but if they weren't there, it's something to be missing.
That's what and I don't mean to go off the subject. That's why, in a sense, I like samples from albums, from records, and not just records, but from songs and period. That's why I kind of don't like stems. When somebody do give you stems, like how we do sometimes make beats from that, because it's a difference when you're sampling off an album, from a record or anything like that, of something that's already made, as opposed to when that thing is tracked out and then you're using it. It takes so many elements inside of a song.
I can't stand construction kits. I'm just gonna put that out there. I hate construction kits. Like, you got the bass separate here. I like you like all the elements. Let me do what I want to do with this. I don't want to have to. I don't know this
because you nailed it, Jay Bishop. It is a lot of songs. When we listen to a lot of stuff we sample from, this, that, and other. Like, when you're playing that song or sample over and over and over, you start to hear shit in it that you did not know was in it.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like creating a folly for a movie if you're gonna try to recreate. Like, that's what you were basically doing by adding, that stuff to it. And that's what I was getting to, is that I like sampling from old stuff because it has all those type of layers in it. Then you just give me something that's stripped down. Here go the bass, here go the guitar. Like, it's gonna sound different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna sound different.
A lot of that is you can hear the room they recorded it in.
Yeah.
Because they recording, they're not isolating mics. And that becomes part of the record. In recording vocals for this, I didn't use an isolated mic. I recorded in an open room.
Right.
And just recorded the vocals out in the open, because I got that from, I was reading a book about Prince and learned that he recorded all his vocals just in the control room.
Yes.
Just had a mic set on a boom set up next to the board where he could, run the tape machine and just recorded all his vocals. He didn't go into a booth. He just did it right in the control room.
That's what Drake.
Let the room be part of the sound.
That's what Drake do.
I did that before. I did that when I recorded these cats in Atlanta about 13 years ago. They had the mic in the control room, and I recorded them in the control room. And actually, it sounded. They had a Bluebird mic, and it sounded incredible. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand that.
Dre do the same thing. I know he was building a studio in his new house, and he was like, I'm not gonna have a vocal booth. His thinking was the same thing with the control room. Why not do everything in there? Everything is isolated anyway. You gotta listen to it to mix it in there. Why not cut some vocals in there? Where your surroundings are.
Yeah, a lot of people overthink things. I gotta have a booth, or I gotta get this isolation thing and this, that. You don't gotta do all that.
Sure
There's no
don't.
rules.
Sure don't.
No.
A quick story. My old roommate, roommate of mine's brother, he ended up moving in with us. He cut an album. We cut an album, and he set his closet up. And I telling him, I'm like, yo, this just sounds like shit in here. It's just not how a vocal booth's supposed to sound. Like, it sounds like we're in a freaking
bathroom.
Yeah. So he went in and listened. It sounded like we were talking through a toilet paper roll.
Yeah. I my little dude I know, he did that in one of his rooms, and he had a closet. He put it in a real small closet. And I'm like, look, man, that to be honest with you, when you're recording vocals, it's best to be open. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be able to shrink the space down.
Yeah.
Than try to make the space bigger after it's recorded.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most
definitely. Yeah, vocals are it's a learned skill. So, just trial and error and trying to get it to sound like I want to hear it, and playing with compressors, playing with reverbs. Honestly, I'm thinking, what's the most difficult vocal song Maybe Outer Space Love.
Wow.
That song was overall the mix. I did like
I love that
12
song.
different. I did 12 different mixes of that song
Really?
before I got to the final one.
Yeah, I like how that the beginning and everything. I like how that the ambiance, if you will. Straight up.
Yeah, that song was a labor of love because I couldn't not get it the way I wanted it. I just had to keep
What's your favorite?
changing it. It's like picking your children, dog.
Yeah.
It's like picking your children. They all have a something for me. I think maybe performance-wise, the best performance is Rest Assured. I think.
Okay.
I think I sung the best because that was basically the last song I did. So I was used to singing by then.
Right.
So
I think I applaud people that are producers and singers and rappers because I mean I ain't gonna say I couldn't do it, but that would drive me nuts listening to my own voice over and over and over and over, and me trying to
Right.
if I'm mixing somebody else it's different, but myself, man, that would drive me crazy, man.
yes, it can, and vocals are tedious
Yes.
to do, especially when your ability to sing is limited. So it's a tedious work to get the vocals to sound right, to get them to flow right, to get them to sound in tune, to get them, and then go back and process them and choose the right reverb, choose the right compression, and then go back and edit, and just the process of going through each vocal track and editing out the breaths.
Right.
Oh man, shout out to Nectar. I mean that and that's that other one I got. Ovox. No, is that?
Oh, yeah.
On the Sibilants. Sorry, Sibilants.
Well,
Sibilants, yeah.
Oh, my
but
God.
I could tell when I listen to somebody,
Yeah.
and I hear,
couldn't overdo that.
I hear their vocals and I hear a bunch of breathing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you ain't take the time because you should have edited all that out.
Yeah.
right.
Like I go back and listen to some of my older stuff. Like I go back and listen to all that to get to this, and I can hear my breath still in there because I didn't realize I could edit about editing breaths out. And I go back and listen, and I'm like, I can hear myself breathing. I don't like it.
On that Sibilants, you monitor, you cut out, and then you can hear like, damn, man, this dude here blowing
The
up
only
an air
time
balloon.
I ever like somebody breathing is Big Pun, because every time Big Pun breathes, it's hilarious. Because he take huge breaths.
Shout out and RIP to Big Pun.
Big Pun, no, it's indeed, man. Well, Jay, man, it's been a pleasure, man, talking with you, man. I consider you a friend, comrade. I'm proud of you, man. I wish you nothing but the best on this next release coming up July 3rd. LatePass bandcamp.latepass music. July 3rd. Pre-orders are out right now. Go grab your CD. CX.
Man, check him out. His whole discography is there as well. He has a sale on his discography. Oh man, why I keep twisting this up? He has a sale on his discography as well. Go check him out on LatePass Music on Bandcamp, and also check us out as well on the Master Channel on YouTube.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. We're doing the Corona editions coming up. So all you people that are held hostages in the house at gunpoint, you can listen to this.
Right. Mr. Bishop.
Well, I thank y'all for having me. I appreciate the chance to come on and talk about the project, and I appreciate all the support you guys are giving me over the time we've known each other, and I look forward to continuing to be friends and musical collaborators and all that. And like I said, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Ain't no thing, man.
No doubt.
Time. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Master Channel. I am DJ Wild Body,
And I'm CX, the producer.
and this was the Master Channel. We discussed the ins and outs of hip hop, thing both theoretically and technically. Jay Bishop, Steppers, LatePass Music, July 3rd. Pre-orders now. Go ahead and grab it. Until next time, This is DJ Wide Body for Jay Bishop and the Comrade CX producer. See you next time on the Master Channel.